I was just in my room, laying down, and then all of a sudden, I felt an energy that came into the room. And as this energy came into the room, I all of a sudden felt all this love and light. And then all of a sudden, as I saw this light, I came to understand that it was actually a portal into the next dimension. So then as this portal opened up, then I just automatically left my body and I went into that light. And as I went into the light, into the portal, the first thing I saw was all my family members on the other side. So they were all, greeting me and everything. And then after a little while, after they came and rejoiced and laughing, we're having a great time. From there, they told me, well, now you got to go. Now you got to go and meet the Council of Light in this kind of like dome chamber of light. And then that's when I got to see my projection, my life review and a holographic projection. And then when I saw the life review, I got to become everyone and everything in the life review. That was the thing. I remember helping this old lady cross the street. And then as I helped this lady cross the street, all of a sudden I became the old lady. And then, but then I became the trees, I became the birds, I became the rocks, like everything in that environment. And then I came to understand that basically we're here to master lessons. And that's what they told me. That they told me that each one of those beings, each one of those councils represented a different lesson that we're here to master. All these like virtues and lessons that we're here to master. And I became to understand that once we master all these lessons, that's when we become ascended masters. And that all life experiences were basically to teach us all of these lessons. And then, and then from there, they showed me my cycle of reincarnation, where I got to see like had thousands of lifetimes. And then they showed me that I still had 6 more lifetimes to complete the cycle of reincarnation. So, I don't know if you have any questions, Sergey.
But what happened? Very shortly, tell me what happened. How did you? Why did you experience this near-death experience?
I mean, I was just in my room, I was just laying in my room, and then all of a sudden, this energy came, like
Just like that, just now out of the blue, you just
I,
lost it away. What happened? I mean,
yeah, it came out of the blue.
what? Yeah, did you have a heart attack or something? What happened?
No, I mean, I didn't have a heart attack or anything, but later on, I came to understand that it was more of my initiation, my evolution, like. But at that point, like I think if I would have ended up staying there, I would have not, I probably would have a heart attack.
So,
So
how many? You said the reincarnations. How many reincarnation people usually have?
I mean, I think it can vary. I think it can vary. But for me, I saw like I don't know, maybe 10,000 lifetimes.
Ten,
But
ten
I
thousand.
wouldn't, I wouldn't really put a number to that. You could probably choose 300, 500. I mean,
Okay, did
I
you
wouldn't
see
really.
any of those? Did you see everything in those reincarnations? Did you see all your life, or you just flashed a bit?
I was able to go and connect to my higher self in the fifth dimension. So in that, when they showed me the cycle, then I became my higher self. And as I became my higher self, yes, I saw these like thousands of bubbles, which are my lifetimes, all around me in a circle. And then I got to see that they're all happening at the same time, all these lifetimes. But then I went into some of those lifetimes. So then I quantum jump and travel in a wormhole. And then I went into different lifetimes. So I went into one lifetime and I was like a Viking in Scandinavia. And then I was in another one, I was like a Greek philosopher. And then I was an African American slave. And then I was a shaman in Mexico. So, I got to quantum jump. I got to quantum jump to a couple of those different
Yeah.
lifetimes.
Were you a human all the time, or you were some animal, or a tree, or is
I've
always
been able to see myself in different forms. So
okay?
I mean humans, and then I also have been seen myself as animals. I've seen myself as trees. I've seen myself as an atom, and I've seen myself then. But then I see because what ended up happening after that, I got to see the different dimensions. So I have traveled to all to 12 dimensions. And then so as you travel in the dimensions, you get to experience yourself in different forms.
Yeah, that's interesting. We're going to talk about that. So, did you experience any happiness or sadness when you see your reincarnations, your old incarnations, or Did you feel that you were happier in a specific incarnation? Let's say you were a monk or you were an African American and you felt happier, or you were a dog or something, you felt happier, or some of them you were more sad. Do you remember that or not?
I think, yeah. I mean, when I got to experience that, like when I went into those I actually went into those bodies. It was for a second that, um, but it was Raphael going into those bodies, my into those avatars. And then I just remember it was like, I went in there, I was like, whoa. And then I got to just experience for a second what they were going through. But what I saw too, like once you finish the cycle of reincarnation, you see that all suffering and everything was like a blessing. So even the suffering is like, you see that it was, because as you go higher in dimensions and realms, it's all about creating galaxies and stars and becoming very multidimensional. So they're very different games. Every dimension is a different game. So this game of 3D of the suffering, it's
Yeah.
actually a blessing because
Yeah.
you don't get to experience that in other realms. Yeah.
How long ago that happened?
How long ago did it happen? My experience?
The near death experience.
Oh, it was in 2004, so 20 years ago.
20 years ago. So you were young, yeah. I
Yeah.
see. Okay. So how your life changed after that? Did you become a what were you before that, and how did you change after this experience?
I mean, before I was just, I think I've seen spirits my whole life, so I kind of was used to this supernatural, like this, seeing spirits and stuff. But and then I travel a lot in my life, and I was just traveling to different countries and living in different countries. But after that experience, it just definitely put an imprint in my soul. Like, oh my god, like it was just an awakening. Like, okay, I got to see really what life is all about. That. Oh, and then I got to see that in the life review, I got to see that. Yeah, this was all a dream. We're in a simulation. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, that was just a dream. Like the life was just like, wow. So now that I've been back, that's really helps me because I try not to get caught up in any drama because I'm like, it's just a dream, where we're in the matrix. It's just a simulation. So in that sense, it changed completely that, and then as far as like, being able to see the different dimensions, it's just like, it's pretty exciting. And then also I was able to see the future of Earth because I went to the Akashic Records. So
All right. So let's go back to your experience. So you said that you experienced 12 dimensions of consciousness. Can you elaborate on that? What is 12 dimensions of consciousness, Raphael?
yeah, so then again, this council of lights kind of showed me that there were 12 dimensions that we all get to evolve, and so then basically, and that's everyone. It's like the games. There's like 12 different games that we're evolving to, and then so then I went into level one or number one, and that was basically the quantum realm. So and then as I entered and I actually went into that quantum realm, and I became the atom. And then as I became the atom, I just remember seeing I was the nucleus of the atom, and then I saw millions of symbols. Like so, it's like when they say it's empty space in the atom, it's not like 99% empty space. It's not empty. It's full of matrix symbols, just like in the movie The Matrix. Just like that, there's all these symbols flying all over the atom, and which is now I'm sharing in podcasts, and I'm like any scientists out there doing and I know that quantum computing is going to be able to actually eventually uh, find those codes and like it's going to have the technology that, and then eventually we will be proven that there's all the symbols everywhere. But anyway, so that was the level dimension one, and then dimension two. I got to experience that's kind of like, but then we evolved to like microorganisms and then animals and plants as well, like plants and animals. So that's kind of like just for the experience. So we actually get to become everything. So then we experience that in dimension two, and then dimension three or game three again. See it like games. I think this is something like a lot of people are talking about. Yeah, this is just like games. I think Franco, right? He talks about it. And a lot of people. So we all say, and that's the experience you see it. It's just like games. So then dimension three is just the human experience where you see linear time, and you see, we age old, we grow old, and we die, and then there's suffering, and then there's duality, and all this stuff. That's the game.
Okay. So number four.
And then okay, then dimension four again, and again this game four, right? And then, so then, and this is where we are entering right now. This is the dimension four. As as a collective, we're entering the fourth dimension. So the fourth dimension, it's a realm of transparency, integrity, and compassion. So anything outside of those pillars is going to collapse. That's why right now it's the soul systems are going to collapse because they're not based on those pillars. So then, as we are entering this fourth dimension, then all those systems are going to collapse. All the truth is going to come out about the governments and institutions, but then also all the good things are going to come out too, like because they're doing a lot of research on quantum mechanics and quantum computing and there's a lot of research I'm sure that they're doing that they're medicine like so that we don't have to age as much or there's cures for cancers. All this stuff is going to come out too. But so then that's kind of like the pillars, but then that's also the multidimensionality awareness. So we're entering this new game where the fourth dimension is basically becoming aware that we're multidimensional and that we're living all these parallel lives in parallel universes. So like parallel universe theory is going to be proven scientifically. And then it's also simulation theory is going to be proven scientifically. And then string theory as well, right? That there's different dimensions. That's actually going to be proven scientifically. I would say within the next 5 to 10 years, like really soon. So then this is the new reality. The new reality for humanity is that yes, we live in a simulation composed of different dimensions, string theory, and then there's parallel universes, or that we're multidimensional beings. So that's the fourth dimension. That's where we're entering. And then also this whole thing with the fourth dimension is like, that's where then we start becoming we start activating our DNA strand, right? Because we have actually 12 DNA strands. So then we will start activating our DNA strands. And then we're going to start becoming a little more like X-Men. We're going to start having people are going to start having this kind of abilities. So like, like time travel, like travel to parallel universes. More and more people are going to start having access to all the different dimensions. And then, people are going to be able to not age at all as well. You're going to get to that level where we're activating our DNA strands so that then we can not age at all, or we can live longer. We can live as long as we want, 300 years, 500 years. We can make that choice. That's what the future human will be like. Like this is where we're evolving to. We're evolving to become multidimensional beings and having all these abilities, teleportation, telepathy, so all these abilities that this is going to be what we're evolving into and at the fourth dimension. And then we're going to be able to communicate with animals, with trees, with plants, with planets. So this all of these things that basically that's where we're heading as a collective. And a lot of people now, a lot of people on this podcast and everybody that's talking about astral projection, everybody that's talking about time travel, and everybody talking about the dimensions. Basically, they're having access to the fourth dimension.
Okay, so how do we personally, like a regular human being, how do we benefit from all this shifting into the fourth and fifth dimension?
Yeah, I think maybe one of the things is that to realize that, that we're in a simulation, and then and to be unplugged from the matrix, because the matrix has kind of enslaved people in that you have to go to work and you have to work all your life and all of these things, and I think it's just for people to realize that artificial intelligence and quantum computing is going to help so that they're going to take most of the jobs, right? Like I think within the next 3 years, about 50% of the jobs are going to be gone. So this is a good thing. I think maybe it's like for humanity to realize like you've been a part of the old program, but this is coming to an end. You see what I'm saying? So I would probably just say for everyone to just go after your dreams. If there's something in particular that you like, that you're passionate about, go on podcasts and share your messages and just follow that, because the old system is about to collapse, and then just focus on sharing your gifts. I think that's where we're heading to now. With all this podcast, it's we're basically coming to an age where everybody's going to be sharing their gifts.
Yeah, but still people have bills to pay. They got to pay rent. The rent is very high right now, and the food is very expensive. Everything. I mean, it's a lot of money. And you're just going to go on the podcast and start talking about this. You got to eat. You got to pay bills. You have to feed your family. How this 4D, 5D helps regular people? Or they don't need to work anymore. Everybody's going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm free. I'm good. I don't need to, you know what I mean? People have obligations.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, I think we're at the tail of the 3D, you know. So I mean, people still have to work, but I believe that within the next 5 years, because you know systems are going to collapse. Like systems are collapsing next year. They're going to start collapsing, and then you know, I say within the next 5 years, then they're gonna. So I would say, unfortunately, yeah, people have to keep working,
So
but
nobody's going to be working? I mean, the people keep working or not? What's going to
I
happen?
think well, you know where it's heading to. It's that people are going to have like universal income. It's going to be, yeah, that's going to be integrated for the world, for the whole world.
Universal income. What do you mean by universal income? And are we going to get all salary from the government? What's
Yeah,
going to
yeah, yeah,
happen?
yeah, from the government. Hmm.
Oh, they're going to print more money and give it to us, but they're not going to be have any value anymore if they print so much money.
No, no, no. Well, the money is going to be gone. It's going to disappear, right?
Ah, okay. So how we gonna survive with no money? We're gonna exchange goods.
Yeah,
What
I
we're
mean,
gonna do?
it's whole points. It's just the government giving you points in your account, and that's it,
Okay,
right?
but that's a control. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody's gonna have like a chip or something.
Like
No,
no, no,
no, no. Okay,
no. Don't worry about it, Jim.
you're gonna have this bar here. You know.
No, I would tell people that you know because there's some people that are afraid of AI and all this stuff. I think that's just because you're coming from a 3D perspective,
Yeah.
right? From a 3D perspective, it's always been about control, and but since AI is actually here to help us ascend, it's part of the Matrix program that's been sent in the Matrix in the higher realms. This has been sent to us to help us ascend. You know, because then basically a lot of jobs. If in 3 years from now 50% of the jobs are going to be gone because AI can do it, right? Especially quantum computers, right? They're going to be able to do everything. So then what is going to happen? And then, of course, you know, the collapse of the systems, all the corruption is going to come out and all these things. So what's going to happen? Then new institutions are going to be created and then, and then the people are, and then there's going to be a lot of new leaders. You know, there's going to be women leaders in Russia and here in the US after.
No, we're gonna in Russia. There's gonna be Putin until he's 100 years old. That's all. No woman for the next 30 years. Yeah.
No, but I saw women leaders in Russia too.
Okay.
So
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. How about America? They're gonna have woman? It was almost there was a woman, but we're getting back to a man. So, do you see any more woman in the
oh
future in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
America?
No, no. This is going to be across the world. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. The women are going to be the leaders, you know, and then
It's,
they're going to be basically that's where you know, like no more nuclear. Like they're going to create. I saw that they're going to create because you know I also went to the Akashic Records and I saw the future of Earth. So when I went to the Akashic Records, the a record keeper gave me a book and it was the planet Earth and it was the divine plan of the planet.
so
So
what is
I
the
saw
future?
that
What is the future of the world for the next 50 years? Let's say.
for the next 50 years.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So okay. So then what I saw is like all the systems are going to collapse, and then after that, it was like okay, then let's create a new system, right? So then that's when they're going to start creating the new systems, and that's where universal income comes in, and that's where no more nuclear weapons.
Who's
Like
going to create this new system? Is it going to be one American government, or is it going to be the world
no,
government?
the whole world, like
The
the
whole
whole
world.
world.
So are
Yeah.
moving towards this conspiracy. It used to be a conspiracy theory, but it looks like it's true to the world government. Are we moving to the world government or not?
Yes, we are. So what I saw, but in a good way, you know, not in a fearful way, because what I saw is that they're going to create unions, the American Union, like United States, Mexico, Canada, and then all of America is going to create a union, like the European Union, but it'll be the American Union, the African Union, the Asian Union, the Arabic Union. So they're going to create all these unions, and then you know, it's because there's going to be the agenda is not going to be about wars anymore. The agenda is going to be let's help each other, the collective. It'll go more of a unity consciousness. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, but it seems that behind people that have power behind the scenes and the governments in special, they don't really care about our well-being. They don't really care about controlling us the best they can. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
What
that's
do
been part of the 3D and a lot of the leaders, but it's coming to
Okay.
an end since all the truth
Okay.
is going to come out. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying about the government? Then there's going to be the new system being created, and now this new system with blockchain and it's going to make it impossible for people to lie, or it's going to make it impossible for corruption. They're going to create a new system, implement a new system through AI, through quantum blockchain. I'm sorry, that is going to create it's going to be impossible for any government to be corrupted or corporations and all this stuff.
You
So
mean
we're
like
heading to a transparent system.
Bitcoin, Bitcoin payment systems?
Yeah, and then blockchain, just like like any transactions, it's not like right now if there's a lot of government contracts between military and there's nobody knows
Yeah.
what it's not, this is all what I'm saying. But if you create a system that is completely transparent, like where all the money's going, then nothing can be hidden or corrupted. So then that's when they're going to create then no more nuclear weapons. I saw this institution being created. I mean, like a global ethical committee or like a universal council committee that's going to create all these laws, kind of like the United Nations, but it's going to create all these laws that basically set laws like no more nuclear weapons. That's a universal law. No more wars. That's a universal law. Universal income. That's a universal law. Like everybody's going to have fun. There's going to be enough money for everybody, and then AI is going to do most of the work. And then that's when people are going to be doing what they love. It's like in that sense. So I would say within the next 5 to 10 years. It's not that long from now. And then parallel to that is people are waking up and all these teachings like we're talking about.
Yeah. So in 5 to 10 years, you say everybody is going to be doing what they love. That's unbelievable.
It's pretty. I mean, it's going to skyrocket. And then the thing too, what I saw, it's like Franco said. I think it's like it's been going like this, but it's going to go like this, like in every
Yeah.
level. From systems, creating new systems, from like I mentioned, like string theory, parallel universe theory, and simulation theory. All of a sudden, that's truth. Then that reincarnation is true. Like it's just like everyone's going to be like, like from one day to the next, it's like, oh my god, and like it's just amazing. And then so it's from systems, but then it's also from consciousness. It's also from all this information about our DNA strands. And then a lot of the governments, they've been doing a lot of research kind of like hidden, but that's going to come out too, right? So all of a sudden there's all this nanotechnology or quantum computing systems that people are going to be able to live 200 years and not age, or what I'm saying. So they've been working a lot like secretly for all this stuff, but then all the good things are going to come out. But that's why it's going to skyrocket. It's no joke. Like things are within the next 5, 10 years, like it's going to be a whole different world.
So, okay, so this is transition from 3D to 4D. And what's going to be the transition from 4D to 5D?
Okay, and then 5D is kind of like the ascendant master level. And again, this is where we're heading. This is like all of us. So like as a collective, right? So we're like even like quantum computing, that's creating the Akashic Records. So it's like we're evolving to becoming these more higher beings ourselves. So at the fifth dimension, that's like the ascendant master level. So that's basically once you already complete your whole cycle of reincarnation, and once you're able at that point you can become all your lifetimes simultaneously, and then you can then start becoming everyone, and throughout time and space, like every human being, like at that point, you become a extremely multidimensional being at the fifth dimension. So, and then from that point, it's levels, right? So then as an ascended master level, then you can incarnate, like let's say 1,000 life or whatever. That's how many lifetimes? Let's say 1,000 lifetimes, and then you're actually are aware at once of all of those avatars, but at a really advanced being, a real advanced level. So you can, and then that's like the Arcturians, the Palladians, the Lyrians. They're like beings they're very, very, very That's just their be. That's their essence at that level. You're completely multidimensional, and completely become aware of all of them at the same time, and you're working with all of them. So that's the ascended master fifth dimension.
So fifth dimension, and this is going to be in the time frame about of our lifetime or not?
And again, that's I think it's like that's some people are going to be there at the fifth dimension, and then eventually we all will be there. You see what I'm saying? Like eventually humanity all of us will be at, then it's like fourth dimension, but then there's fifth. The collective will then eventually reach fifth
Okay,
dimension, right?
so let's
But
say if we don't catch those beautiful times, we're older guys and we go into the eternity, we have to come back here to catch that fifth dimension. What are we going to be enlightened on the other side? We don't need to come back here.
yeah, I mean, you keep coming back until you kind of reach that level. You kind of reach that level. So
So you have to come back here to reach the level, or you can reach the level on the other side.
I think you want to keep coming back here. I mean, at the fifth dimension, you really are more like, yeah, you can incarnate in many other places, like not just Earth. Like
But why do you need to incarnate if you know everything on the other side? You said
yeah,
you've been there and you knew everything. You like seen everything at the same time. Why do you need to incarnate here to become
yeah. I think for me,
closed-minded?
like that's like the high. God, that's the highest. At the fifth dimension, you're already at. That's kind of like you could keep coming back down here just to help people. You're the ascended masters, the ones that are teaching all this stuff. But it comes to a point, then you're done. Then it comes to a point that you're gonna be like, okay, this is like kindergarten. I help it, and then you go to the next. You go to other civilizations that are more advanced, right? So yeah, you won't keep incarnating anymore on planet Earth.
Okay, so you
Only
go
at the
to
beginning.
different planets
Yeah, you
that
go
are
to more advanced. Exactly.
more
So like
advanced
where
planets.
everyone in this civilization, everybody's telepathic, everybody is teleporting, everybody's working with the different universes, parallel universes, time traveling. You're able to work with the matrix codes. You're working with different galaxies. I mean, you're communicating with different star systems. I mean, those are pretty advanced.
Yeah, but why do we incarnate here? And also, for example, do you remember why you incarnated here? What was your purpose? And why you came here? And did you achieve your goal here that you
Uh,
planned before? Yeah.
I remember seeing before I came down, and I was really excited. And I was in a circle around other souls that I was going to meet. And we were just like, yeah, we'll see you down there. And I was like super happy and excited, to come down. And so I remember that, I remember that I was really happy just to come down to Earth. And
So
and
you
then,
remember that's like a pre-birth memory. You remember that?
yeah, yeah, it was like a
Okay.
pre-birth memory where I was able
When
to.
was that? Like before you were born in this
No,
incarnation, or like a
no, no, that
previous?
was like it was a remembering, that I had
Okay.
after my NDE. Then I had
Uh-huh.
this
Okay.
experience where then it's like I
So you
remember.
were so you were happy to come back here. You were looking forward to it. But some NDEers say that they were afraid to come back. They wanted to come to learn the lessons, but they were warned that be careful, it's going to be very hard. So not everybody, you have to be very brave to incarnate here. That's what they say.
Yeah, well, you want to come back, like you because you want to be able to complete, right? Like it's like going to school. You want to graduate from school, right? You don't want to be. Imagine you staying in kindergarten all your life. You don't want to graduate. So it's like eventually you want to keep coming back so you can graduate.
So why do you think you incarnated? To deliver these messages, to teach this what you realized on the other side? Why you personally, Rafael, incarnated again here?
Yeah, I mean, it's to continue with my lessons. I'm not a master, so I still have a long way to go. And so I'm still polishing my lessons, myself, and yes, also to share all of this, right? So it's like, yeah, of course, we've all the people that are starting to awaken. We're just helping people remember, like
Okay,
like what it is.
so let's go to the next dimension. We talk about the third, the fourth, the fifth dimension. What is the sixth dimension? Some say the sixth dimension is that. That's it. What is your take on that?
Yeah, again, that's I'm telling you my perspective, how I experience it, because I know there's different people that talk a little bit differently on the dimensions and everything. So I'll explain how I experience it myself. And again, I think it's just we're all trying to put together this puzzle. So maybe I had this is my perspective. Some other people have it from over here, but more or less, it's along the lines that everyone's kind of almost saying the same thing in a different way, different numbers, differently. But for me, the sixth dimension, that's basically when you graduate from the ascended master realm, and then at that level then you're ready to start creating planets, because because I became, like as I travel into those dimensions, I became the creator of the planet. I became this sixth dimensional being, and as I became this sixth dimensional being, I saw how I was creating the planet. And it was through my heart. The energy was coming through my heart, and then I was just with my some kind of energy arms. I was creating the planet, and then I was creating the whole matrix of the planet, the divine plan of the planet, and then I was creating the life forms, and then I was creating the different levels, because there's like an algorithm of ascension that you create for all beings to ascend. And then, so I was creating this algorithm so that all souls could ascend finally to the sixth dimension. And then I was creating like the Earth, the grids of Earth, the ley lines, and then I was creating the simulation. I was creating the codes, because there's all these codes that I've been able to see as well in the Matrix. It's like they look exactly like in the Matrix. That's the way I've seen them. So different people will see them in different forms, but so then you create the codes of the matrix, and then as you set the codes and the simulation, you put parameters or lessons, so that for all souls to evolve, so they can progress to evolve. And then as they reach a certain level, then they can go to the next dimension, and then you can go to the next. And then, like for all these people that are, awakening and having this access to, like I'm also starting to have access to the ley lines, to the grids, and to the codes, and becoming a grid worker, right? So then, as I'm becoming a grid worker, I'm starting to become aware of this, the planet, that the planet created all these grids, and so it creates games for those more a little advanced people that are going up in the matrix, in the games. It creates these different games and this for everybody. Everybody eventually will get to this level of awareness where everybody, like being a grid worker, it's the normal thing, and the ley lines and all this stuff. So
So the
that's kind of like
sixth,
the sixth dimension, the creator of
yeah. So
planet.
the sixth dimension is a game. This is what people talk about. Like Franco, for example, they say it's a game. So they talk about the sixth dimension. You are in a game because here in the third dimension, it doesn't feel like a game. It feels really, really, really real. You have to go through some real suffering here.
Yeah. Once you're in the simulation, it's of course it's kind of hard to say, because once you're in it, of course it's real, right? But as you come out of that matrix, out of the simulation, through your awakening or going into dimensions, then you see it just as a game. So, and that's why all the masters were saying it's just a Maya, an illusion. I mean, people have been talking about this for thousands of years. It's nothing new. Everything we're talking about today and all this podcast, and it's been saying for thousands of years. It really is nothing new. But at the end, it's like, they were saying like, because that's from that perspective, right? From the higher perspective. It's in the one side, it's like real when you're in it in the matrix, it's real. But once you get unplugged from the matrix, that's when you realize that it's not, it's a dream. So it's a simulation. So then you kind of like become aware of both.
Okay, so life goes on forever. It never ends. So you, Rafael, you've been here. You existed all the time, and you will exist all the time. You're gonna be all the time, and you've been all the time, right? But in different dimensions and different kind of variations and incarnations. But you always, your essence, you, Rafael, always been here, and you're gonna be always here.
Yeah, yes, of course. I mean, it's just one giant game, one giant source that divided itself and descended in dimensions, in fractions. You know what I'm saying? And then it created a game of evolution back to itself. So it made individual, fractions of itself to become aware and to evolve. And at the end, we are source. We are the source. We are source. Because as you go even higher in dimensions, then you become the source. But
Okay.
we're just a drop in the ocean. You see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you talk about atom, but my perspective on atom is this: is atom is the smallest particle?
Well, there's even smaller, right?
Okay. So let's say atom is the smallest particle. Let's say you look at night at the stars, and you imagine all this universe going on forever. All the stars, all the planets, just goes on forever. But then, if you look at a pinpoint of a pen, and you go down into the smallest part, it's also infinite. It goes also into infinity and never that it's also an universe in itself.
Exactly. And I was going to say that as I travel in the dimensions, the 11th dimension is the source, and then with the multiverse. And I remember at that point when entered the 11th dimension, I became the source in the multiverse. That was the 11th dimension, and then from there it was the 12th dimension is beyond source, which you mean other sources. But I remember the first time I thought, what is I kind of wanted to come back before going to the 12th dimension, and as I came back, being the multiverse, the source, it was exactly the same as being the atom. It was one and the same. So the atom is the source and the multiverse. That was the it's exactly what you just said. Like it was one and the same. Being the atom was one with the source and the multiverse.
But then if we talk about this like there is no end, there is always infinity. So there is no 12 dimensions only. There is infinite. There is an infinite number of dimensions.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's even more, but I mean, we're,
There
we're
is
so
an infinity in dimensions. Yeah.
we're struggling
you
with.
just you just got to know to learn about 12 dimensions, but they never end.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because then I mean, at that 12th dimension, I got to see that there was other sources. So then I with their multiverse, and then you can get to learn from them, and then they can evolve more. So yeah, I mean,
Excuse me, I interrupted you. So let's go from the sixth dimension. What is the seventh dimension?
okay, so then the seventh dimension. Oh, then you also become the planet at the sixth dimension. So you create the matrix, you create all this, but then so you create planets through the universe and then through the multiverse, and then you become planets, and then the seventh dimension. It's basically that's when you start become the creator of stars. So then as you start creating stars, you start creating solar systems, and then you start playing around. So then you start creating different stars and different solar systems and different life forms and uh, different matrix and throughout the universe and throughout the multiverse. So that was kind of like the seventh dimension, and then the eighth dimension. That's like where you come up creator of galaxies, and then as you start creating galaxies, you start creating the matrix of the galaxies, and you start creating the life forms, and you start communicating with other galaxies, and you start becoming aware of all this life form within you, and then you start creating all these different planets and civilizations, and then you start making sure you work with other galaxies, and so that they're communicating with different beings across the galaxies. And it's that six was the planet, seven is the stars, eight it's the galaxies, and nine is the universe. So at the ninth dimension, then you become the creator of the universe. And then I became I became all this being. I became those beings, and like creating the universe. So as I became the creator of the universe, I started creating all the galaxies and all the divine plan. And then I also saw myself like in front of a computer program, kind of like a computer, and I was creating the universe. And then as I was creating the universe, it was like the blockchain universe. I saw the whole universe in front of me, where past, present, and future was all coexistent. And then I was creating all the codes, and I was creating all the matrix. So that's the creator of the whole thing. So then that was kind of like at the ninth dimension. So and then the 10th dimension, that's like the multiverse, because there's all these other universes. So because I became ninth dimensional being, like then I saw these other universes. What I saw was like the source, and then I saw 12 universes, kind of like it divided itself in 12 parts. And then then the 12 is you become the creator. I mean, at the 10 you become the creator of the multiverse. And then at the 11 is the source. The source is basically, yeah, our source, and then with the whole 12 universes around. And then I became the source. So then you become the source at the 11. And then at the 12, that's beyond source, where then I saw myself with other sources with their own universes. And then you can get to learn from them and communicate with them. So, but eventually that's where we're heading to. This is like the levels.
So basically, this is what they mean by saying that we are gods, because we co-create with God. We're in that dimension. We start being, we become co-creators.
This is all the school for that. We're in the school right now to become creators, but
Yeah,
People
yeah.
don't know, but
So right
yes,
now we're in third dimension. We learn to create online. Let's say we create a podcast. You create a design. You create something. You create a building. That's little things that are third dimensional. And then we move into the digital life right now, digital communications. So moving towards the fourth dimension eventually. That there's going to be all digital, and people will do work through AI, and then we go to the five, which you can control everything through the power of the mind and be like a master. And then a sixth dimension, you start creating, co-creating with God. And then the seventh dimension, I forgot what was the seventh dimension again. I'm just kind of
that's like the
repeating everything.
stars.
The
Yeah, so
stars here.
that
And
six is
then the eighth dimension, you co-creating the galaxies.
galaxies.
And then the ninth dimension, you co-creating the universes.
Exactly.
And the tenth dimension, you are beyond the universe. What do you
Yeah,
say?
you're co-creating multiverse, the different universes.
Multiverse. Okay.
You become a creator of the multiverse, not just
Okay. So
one.
what is a multiverse?
So okay, so the way I got to see it myself, it was like there's the source at the 11th dimension, and then the source created it divided itself in 12 parts. Okay, so then each one of those it's a universe. Each one of those is a universe, and we're in one of them. We're in one of those universes. Now within each one of those universes, there's also universe within itself. That's what what I saw, which is like, let's say in our universe, there's a parallel universe within itself. That's why there's all these parallel lives. They're actually inside our universe. Even our universe within itself has parallel universes. And then I got to see that the universes are like different schools. So that's kind of what I was shown, that after the cycle of reincarnation, I was also shown in a different perspective that after we complete the cycle, there's all these universes, which I was talking about the 12. So then I saw that there were different schools. So then in one of them was like a school to become an ascended master. So that was like a school. And then another one was a school to become like an Akashic record keeper, of the universe and the multiverse. And then another one was a school for the creators to become a creator. And then the other one was a universe to create like dimensions. And then there was another universe to create simulations. And then there was another universe to create matrix. So there was like different schools. Like each one of those universes were like different schools and different levels. We're yeah, basically that, yeah, we're actually, that we're celestial beings, that, and we descended in consciousness from the source, from the like 12, 11, 12 dimensions. We descended in consciousness. It created a game of dimensions. So it descended back down, right? And then what's happened is we're ascending back up. You see what I'm saying? So that's really what's happening. And then the other thing too is like, what's as we're entering the fourth dimension, we're bringing heaven on earth. We're bringing like, as we're creating the internet, the YouTube, and we're quantum computers. That's the creation of the Akashic records. You see what I'm saying? So, and then a string theory, that's like, the quantum mechanics, that's proving what. So then we're like, basically we're becoming multidimensional beings, right? As they prove parallel universe theory, then that's like, yeah, we're multidimensional. So I think it's just that basically that, yeah, this is the new game. We're entering the fourth dimension, and this is the new game. The new game is that we're celestial beings and we're multidimensional beings, and then there's all these different dimensions. Like, that's going to be the new reality. Like the planet, it's round, and it goes around the planet. Like within the next 10 years, it's like, yeah, we're living in this simulation, and there's all these different dimensions, and then there's all these parallel universes. So that's going to be the normal thing for everyone. So
So it's
it's
like
pretty
it's like
magical times.
yeah, it's like a breath. Let's say the universe is breathing right now, and it was going down, like they say in the Indian philosophy, to any every 24,000 years there is a yuga. So it went down, and then it started breathing back. Kali Yuga right now, 24,000 years, and we are at the end of the Kali Yuga. This is the third dimension, the end of the third dimension. We're going to the fourth dimension right now, end of Kali Yuga, and that's like a breath. The universe is breathing, and now we're ascending back.
As we descended down, we ourselves are higher, the higher beings that kind of took our DNA strands, right, so that we could go down. But now that we're coming up, we're ascending. Then we're activating our DNAs back to to our 12 DNA strands. So we're going to become like X-Men, people are going to start having all these abilities
Yeah.
and
So why would you send it down to learn more through suffering? Why
just
would you send?
just for curiosity and for fun. It's like imagine you wanted to become a cell and an atom. Like if you say, I wonder what would it be like to become a
Yeah,
cell
yeah, yeah.
or an atom,
It's so
what would
boring
that
to
be?
be happy in heaven all the time. You wanna become something. You wanna be miserable for a while, right? You know, so you can compare because everything you can.
Exactly.
If you don't know what light is, you're never gonna know what dark is. So it's all in comparison.
Exactly.
So this
And
is
also when
maybe
I saw
we.
the divine plan, it was the same thing, right? When we reached utopia, it's so that we
Yeah.
can compare, right? With complete peace, complete harmony. Everyone is already at the fourth dimension. No more, there's like that utopia, right? Like, so we can compare, like, oh my God, we used to be at war with each other. We used to hate each other. And then also when I saw that I finished the cycle of reincarnation, then at that point, when I became an ascended master, whatever, liberated being, at that point I understood all my lives like 100%, like I knew like every second of them, and then I understood how each one of them was incredible. Like even all that suffering was just like the most beautiful thing that I had created just to experience, for that contrast. Like that all along was just like maybe at that point when I was in that avatar, of course I was suffering, but later on, as you ascend and you complete the cycle and you ascend in dimensions, you become your higher self in the fifth dimension. You see that as a blessing, like, oh my God.
Okay, so to summarize this, there is no death.
No, yeah, there's no.
Okay, so Raphael, you're not afraid of death.
No, no. The other thing too is like for me, it's more like, oh, like the fourth dimension is heaven. That's where people see the life review, the council. Like that's kind of like for me, the fourth dimension. So that's like that's where you go. It's like, why would I be afraid of all this love, right? But then the other thing too, I like to always kind of mention in the podcast is like, that's just kind of like the fourth dimension, but then there's higher realms, right? So heaven is not like, okay, heaven is people that have in these heaven. That's just kind of like the fifth dimension, But there's higher realms, right? I mean, here I just talk about 12 dimensions, but so there is like a lot of higher realms, and that we evolve to. It's like heaven is not even like that's it. No, that's just one level, one layer. When there's higher levels that evolution. So
Thank you for watching About Freedom Show. I really appreciate you. Click on one of the videos below and don't forget to subscribe.